Thank you.
Thank you for reminding us.
Okay.
Go.
All right, here we go. So thank you for joining us for our discussion about our program in welding fabrication technology. So yes, we do welding, but we also do fabricating in our department. This is an excellent sign. Students actually fabricated this sign and cut it out in a CNC plasma cutting table and fabricated it together. And we've got it lit up typically on that first day you come in. We also got a second one with glow in the dark lights.
So that one's got flames in it. There it is. So the student that made this sign, I overheard him talking to another student, and he said, you know, growing up, he always thought of metal as being this thing that you can't really change. I mean, it is what it is. He said, then he came to our program and he learned that, hey, you can do anything with this stuff. He said that was a big game changer for him. And now he is a foreman running a shop in, I want to say it's Kent, and employs several of our graduates.
Welding and metal fabrication are stock tools of many trades here in the United States and globally. As I mentioned in our brief introduction, if you really take a moment to think about what impacts welding make on the global industry, really anything that you use on a daily basis is impacted by a welder at some point. Whether that's just getting things shipped to you, the buildings that you go to, the trains or the cars or whatever that you occupy every day, getting on the bus, everything is impacted at some point by a welder. In the US, demand for trained welding and fabricators continues to rise, especially in small shop settings, which we've been seeing a lot more recently. The range of job opportunities and skills needs to be diverse. That includes blueprint reading and layout, cutting and fitting parts, tacking and production welding, and some finishing and material handling. These are all things and subjects that we touch on here in our main campus program up at South Seattle. Doug, do you want to add on to that?
No, other than this picture is one of our graduates who, this is his first job out of school. Only about 10% of welders go into construction. Construction's not for everybody, but if you are kind of you have that sense of loving freedom and working hard and you know, going new places and seeing new things, construction may be for you. But only about 10% of welders actually go into construction.
Yeah.
So Alex, let's play a little game right now. How about you try and think of something that you have in your, you know, let's say in your apartment, your house, wherever you're staying at right now. Think of something that welding has nothing to do with, that wasn't affected or impacted by welding. And it's going to be tough, I'm sure, but think of something and type it in there or unmute and tell us some object that welding had nothing to do with. Your cabinet. Okay, is it a wood cabinet? So if it's a wood okay, so if it's a wood cabinet, how was it cut? How was it transported? How was it manufactured? You know, yeah, wood cabinet, it's a yeah, it's made out of wood, but it's got metal fasteners in it. It's got glue that was made in probably metal vats, is transported on equipment trucks that were welded, probably over a bridge that was welded, probably transported in a train car or a ship that has a lot of welding in it. So, I mean, basically, if it wasn't for welding, we'd still be living in the Stone Age. I mean, we would have everything would be made out of sticks and rocks and twine and animal hides. Well, other textiles, cotton and stuff, but welding and working with metal is what has really changed our world. And, you know, I had one guy tell me that he had pottery, that, welding had nothing to do with pottery. So, well, maybe, maybe not. So anyway, I just, it's hard to, it's amazing the impact that working with metal has had on our lives. So anyway, I'm going to shut up now.
We got another. It's a video of our students working on some different projects outside. They actually built that whole structure that it opens with. This whole pipe structure here was built and welded up by students. You can see one in the beginning working on part of that pipe. But really, our students, we don't know where our students go in industry. They can go in a very diverse different locations of industry. And we try to provide an atmosphere that gives them a sense of a real job site as best as possible. Keeping in mind that we don't know where they're going to go, what's exciting to them, what they're passionate about, what they're good at. Some of them work on art. Some of them are, working on furniture. Some of them go into the Ironworkers Union. Some of them will go into aerospace or end up working in shipyards, railroad, all kinds. And on occasion, we have students go into underwater welding with the Divers Institute of Technology and start here and go over there. So. Got that part. Hey, that's me. A little bit about me. I've only been welding professionally since about 2017. My focus has been on aerospace. I was a TIG welder, or a gas tungsten arc welder. I did go through our associate's degree program myself as a student, and went through the whole 2-year program at the main campus. I started soldering and working with metal when I was very young, probably when I was about 8 or 10 years old in my father's maritime shop. And I've been teaching adults in one way or another since about 2012. So I went from one field and into welding and back into teaching welding. So.
And doing a good job at it.
Oh, thank you. Thank you. There's this other guy.
Yes, that's me. This is at SeaTac Airport. It's I'm 9 stories off the ground. And I'm standing on a couple of beams there. I'm going to be doing some welding. I'm afraid of heights, but I found if they pay me enough, I will do it. But like I said, it's not for everybody. I've been welding since 1989. I've welded in repair, custom fabrication. I've welded on assembly lines, in factories. I've welded in construction. I have a welding machine in my garage. Have welded, a side business. I completed my apprenticeship with the Ironworkers Union in 2002. And I've worked as a foreman and as a general foreman, supervising other foremen in the ironworkers. And I have been an instructor in the Ironworkers Apprenticeship for 7 years. And I've been teaching in the state college system since 2010. So about 12 years in the state college system. I've made a living at it.
All right. More about our program a little bit. South Seattle College offers a welding IBEST program. And so what that kind of means for our students is When you go into when you go into college, you need to take like an English or a math class, math test to see what classes you need, where you need to be placing for English or math. And having the support of what's called an IBEST, which means integrated basic educational skills training. Having that support from that program means that our students don't need to be the best at math or English. In fact, they can get a score of 220 and complete an interview with one of us, Doug or myself, to enroll in our welding program. So we don't need to have a super high math score or a super high English score to come into our program. We want to work with you regardless of where your skills might sit.
So this is one of our students. She has since graduated, and she works doing custom fabrication work. I talked to her, I want to say about 6 months ago, and she had just finished building a trailer for somebody, and they were very excited about getting a nice trailer custom built just for their needs. I think it was an equipment trailer to park like a what are those Bobcats on. So she's here in our lab, actually outside in our lab, doing some welding on a thing. We do a lot of welding and things.
And stuff. We weld a lot of stuff too, not just things.
Yes.
One of our classes, especially as you get toward the end of your degree, we have what's called Intermediate Welding 2 and Advanced Welding 2. And these are where we start hitting fabrication. One of our students here in this really wanted to build an infinity table for outside. And so he made it out of some pretty hefty duty square stock. And that's what one of his projects are for that class. But I've had several students make things that are similar or are equally as more artistic and home decor in that nature. He actually made 2 or 3 of these over his time here. So he really enjoyed making those and used them at his house for lawn furniture later on. So if you could build a project for your house, what would it be? Birds.
Yep, that was one of my students, and she actually came by the shop last week and said that she's marching in graduation at UW with a Bachelor of Fine Arts, and invited me and my wife to go to her graduation. So I'm honored by that. And she shows her sculptures and has art shows and doing an excellent job.
Excellent. That's the same student that was just working outside that we saw. Fashion. We are fashionable people sometimes, but more important, we wear a lot of PPE. And this particular student managed to match her welding helmet with her hair color, which was awesome.
Yes. So which came first, the hair color or the hood color?
I think that's the hood or the hair color. I think she showed up with hair of that color. I can't remember. I've used to have hair that color.
I used to have hair. All right. So we, in our program, we talk about how it's a very practical program. It is geared towards employment and careers. Sometimes we do joke about how, no, joke's not the right word for it. We have about 25% of our students already have a bachelor's degree. You know, if I'm not against education. I have a college degree myself. I actually have more than one college degree myself. Stephanie's working on a bachelor's degree. But, you know, our program is very practical. At the end of our program, you can go into career making $25, $30 an hour sometimes, depending on which career direction you take. And that's entry-level wage for welding. So if you go into the building trades, you can make $75 an hour in some jobs. So we want to be very practical. We want to be very career oriented in our approach to teaching. So
absolutely. Our students, I mean, traditionally, a lot of our students are, I would say, between the ages of 30 and 45. Some of them, a lot of them have worked in, lots of different jobs, have had a lot of, customer service and food service industry folks come in to our program because they're just, they want not a more successful career, but they want a more rewarding career, and, to make more money. And that's definitely something that we respect their students, but we push for. You're here to get a good job, and that's what we want. We want to help you achieve is to get the skills, to get the job in your view that you're looking for.
I'm thinking of two students I have right now. One has a bachelor's degree in banking, a field that his family had encouraged him to go into, and he hated it. And so now he's in the welding program. I have another student that's got a bachelor's degree in, say, social services, and he wanted to be a welder when he finished high school, and they advised him to go into social services to get a bachelor's degree. So it's welding. It's satisfying because not only does it pay a lot, but you get the satisfaction of making something with your hands. And when you're done, you can stand back and say, I built that. That's mine. I did that. So.
Right. More about work. That's why we're here. There's an estimation of job growth rate for welders to be about 6% through 2026. And the American Welding Society, or AWS, as we refer to it, predicts that there'll be a 400,000 welder demand in the next couple of years. I heard that similar statistic just a couple of years ago, and they were still predicting just a little under that 350,000 welder shortage. So we've got a flux of a lot of folks have been in the industry for a long time, and they're looking to step down, to retire, to move to greener pastures. And there's not a whole lot of folks that are behind them to take their place. And with everything is impacted by welding, and somehow, in some way, that creates a big need and demand for welders and fabricators. As Doug had mentioned before, only about 60% of welders go into manufacturing and 10% work in construction. The average welder hourly rate is $21.73, but that is nationally. So while I think day one of 86 apprenticeship, local 86 apprenticeship is like $28.70 an hour, something like that in the ballpark. And that's day one. You don't know if you parked in the right place and where your locker is yet. That's here in Seattle. If you're looking something more in the middle of the states where, the regular, cost of living is a lot lower, your wages, your minimum wage is a lot lower, that's going to impact that. So that's a national hourly wage. Here it seems a little low, but don't let that deter you, because it is slighted by the rest of the nation. That being said, welding skills are transferable between trades and between industries. So you might work, here in Seattle for a little while and decide, you really want to be a welder, you want to be a pipe fitter, and you go and you move down into the Gulf of Mexico, you move to Texas, your welding skills are going to go with you. But you can also switch, if maybe you're an iron worker somewhere and you decide that's not what you want to do, you're afraid of heights. You don't want to be on hooked up to a bungee anymore. You can go and work in as a TIG welder in a nice little office chair, scooting about a big warehouse.
Air conditioned.
It was not an air conditioned warehouse. No. So Puget Sound, that said, Puget Sound has many maritime construction, pipelining, manufacturing, aerospace opportunities. We've got I mean, for me, I know the aerospace because that's where I came from, but we've got those big guys. We got, Blue Origin, we got SpaceX, we got Boeing. These are all big name companies that like to hire out of littler companies too. So all those mom and pop shops, you get your experience there. Those big name companies are cherry picking those guys that are really good out of those companies. So that's really cool to see too. All right.
Okay, so there's another one of our students working on our two-story structure made out of pipe. The program takes 5 quarters, 1 year and 3 months. It depends. It depends also on what electives you need to take, your math and English, what classes you need to take. Some people they can finish it in 6. Some people can finish it in 5. It depends on you. We usually run classes in the summertime, so it helps you get done quicker rather than taking the summer off. So we admit new students every quarter, including summer. So if you're interested in signing up for a summer start, that's entirely within the realm of possibility. There are times when we have so many new students that we will take brand new students and put them in 2nd quarter classes or even 3rd quarter classes, because each one of those first 3 quarters are introducing a new skill set, and they can be standalone. So you can start in any one of the 3 quarters if we're overloaded. So if you go to sign up and you see the 1st quarter classes are full, get with us, contact us. We can get you put in a 2nd quarter class so that you don't have to wait for the tidal wave of people coming in. We do have a sister program at Vigor that is shipyard focused. Students do transfer from our program to that program and vice versa. Our program is very broad-based. We want to prepare you for many different industries and give you a taste of a lot of different welding processes, whereas Vigor's focus is shipyards. Our program will prepare you for entry-level welding positions, and many students start working while they're still students. I've probably got, at any given time, I've got 3 or 4 of my students are working a welding job while they're still a student. Usually they get a job their last quarter or 2, and they'll work nights or they'll work mornings and work out a deal with the employer so they get done at noon and they'll come to the afternoon classes. So we want to help it. We want to help it be easy for you to get in the program and finish the program. We want you to have a positive experience, and we want you to be successful.
Would add on to that, if there came to a scenario where we started you in 2nd quarter classes, you're not going to be lost or confused or overloaded by taking 2nd quarter classes first. We call them 2nd quarter classes just to add some kind of pattern or order to how we align up classes. But really, you can, like as Doug said, their first 3 quarters, you're learning something new skill set anyways, so you're not going to get lost or overwhelmed.
Yeah, and I don't know, Alex, if you are familiar with welding at all. 1st quarter is basically stick welding and oxy-fuel welding. 2nd quarter is wire feed welding, and 3rd quarter is heliarc or TIG welding. And if you start out of order, you'll get them all.
Yeah,
it'll work. Trust us.
Yeah. So our typical schedule is we run Monday through Friday at this time. Doug teaches at this time. He's teaching the morning class. He runs from 7 a.m. to 11 a.m. And then we also have the afternoon class, which is I currently run from about 1 p.m. to 5 p.m. And as he mentioned, a lot of our students still go to work while they are going to school. We've been really accommodating to students to figure out how we can get them the education they need and still be able to put food on their table. That's a concern that most of our students deal with. So we're pretty versed on how to help you with that hurdle. Most of our tools, I would say you probably have less than about $1,000 for the tools for the whole program. You don't need those tools all up front on day one. That is over the course of that year and a half that you're in the program. And again, that's depending on the cost of the tool, where you buy it, how extravagant it is or isn't. And then there's lots of grants and scholarships out there to help you with your tools. So don't let the cost of tools be the thing that deters you from signing up for the program. We're pretty good about reaching out and helping students connect with scholarship opportunities and grant opportunities as they come up our way. We'll post them in the main lobbies, and we'll talk about them for students and help them get on that path. So it's very possible that you can get all of your tools covered by scholarships and grants, regardless of where you are with FAFSA, right? Financial aid, traditional FAFSA government funding. That is our whole spiel. This is our contact information. Doug's at the top and mine at the bottom. And we also have an awesome Facebook webpage as well that you can follow us on there. So do you have any questions for us that we can answer or shine some light on? Awesome. Cool. Well, and we still got a few minutes of our time. Last time I ran over.
I can sing. You don't want me to sing.
Don't want you to sing.
No.
Don't want you to sing.
Thank you. Let me ask you something, Alex. What is there any single thing in the program that stands out to you as being that's really fascinating to me?
Absolutely. There's not very many people that I meet that tell me they're welders. I do have some welder friends, but most of them I met here or I met after I became a welder. Yeah, I think it's pretty cool.
Yeah, there's so many things you can do with it. I mean, yes, you can earn a living doing welding this or welding that, but most of our students, I don't know about most, I would say many of our students eventually get their own welding machines for their own use at home, and they fix things for friends, they make their own stuff. It's pretty cool.
I will say, if you're really interested in the program and you want that little bit of extra peek, you can reach out to one of us and we can work out a time you can come in and check out the shop and ask our students, for advice or what it's been like for them, kind of see what we do. So you're feel free to reach out to us, Doug or myself, and we can give you a tour of our program and you can come in and see it for yourself. Right. That's totally an option. And we love having guys come in and check us out.
Absolutely. Nice. There's you've probably heard of it, Seattle Promise, where you get your tuition, not your tuition, your credits paid for.
Yeah.
The tuition, yes. You do need to be aware that it doesn't cover your tools. And it doesn't cover class fees, I don't think. So don't get caught by surprise about that. But to have your tuition paid is that is phenomenal right there. We're talking thousands and thousands of dollars, and it's an awesome opportunity.
Yeah, the Seattle Promise program, they do cover the cost of tuition itself, lab fees and tax fees and that kind of stuff. They don't cover. I think for most of our students that are full-time, it comes to a couple $100. I would say like, $300-400 a quarter in fees. But you can get opportunity grant will help cover those things. And they're great. We always get flyers from the gals up at the opportunity grant office asking like who qualifies. Financial aid will typically cover those things if we apply for the right stuff. And we've got a great department in the student services that can help with scholarships and grant questions. I'm always here. I've been to this program myself, so I have that edge where I'm pretty savvy on hunting for scholarships and grants with students and sending them on. Yeah, and I know how they get dispersed and what you got to do from a student perspective. So.
Yep, it doesn't have to come all out of your own pocket. My bachelor's degree and my master's degree were mostly paid for by grants. So it's just taking the time to fill out the forms and send them in.
Yeah. I would say in the last three quarters, most of my incoming students have been in your situation where they're coming, they're graduating high school and they're coming into our program. So I've had a lot of flex of age dynamic changes. Earlier I mentioned a lot of my students are in their 30s and 40s, but this last three quarters, most of my students are under 21. So a lot younger dynamic. And I think it's been a lot really helpful for them to be equally confused about the transition from high school to college together. Yeah. All right, that is all I have. Looks like we're getting extra photos.
Oh yeah, been there, done that. Good times.
Oops, that's it. That's all I got. All right. Thank you for coming and checking us out, Alex. Hopefully, yeah, email one of us and you can do a walkthrough and check out our program a little more in person and in depth. We'd love to have you.
Yes, thank you very much. I'm honored by your interest in our program and hope to see you this summer. If not this summer, then this fall. All right, we'll see you.
This and
Yeah.
I think the recordings are useful. And also we'll probably just do the virtual series once a year instead of trying it twice. We had better turnout in February. So I think we'll probably stick with that. If anyone wants to, any of our presenters want to head out, you can definitely head out now because there's just a few more slides left. I guess before you leave, if anyone is interested in participating in the open houses, like if you're at South, for example, there are going to be some tours. We'll pay faculty stipends to participate in having your space open for the students who come through for tours. So let me know if you're interested in being available for that. The open houses are next week, 3 to 6.
I will actually be working that evening. I usually work in the days, but I'll be working the evening shift on both the 4th and the 5th. So if you want to have people come through the aviation hangar at South, I'll be there.
Okay, great. Yeah.
Likewise, I'm in the welding shop on both those days. In I'm here till 5 p.m.
Okay, perfect.
We need to make sure individuals coming through our shop have safety glasses.
Okay.
Because there are going to be students welding and like closed-toed shoes. So we don't have anybody with like flip-flops coming through. How do we go about ensuring those safety protocols for people coming in?
Yeah, I think we'll have to let the tour guides know. And then I think we can also tailor our email message
Okay.
for those who have signed up for the tours. and remind them to wear closed-toed shoes. And then we have goggles, right? Like, or safety glasses that we can pass out, or
I'm
how
gonna,
does that normally work?
I'm gonna order some.
Okay.
And I plan on being available that evening as well in the welding shop. So Steph,
Oh, okay.
you don't have to be feel overwhelmed.
I'm here anyway.
Okay. All right, we've got a few more minutes before the breakout rooms close. Now it looks like somebody is still recording. If you want to stop recording. I'm not sure who it is.